YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times.
What's going on, horror fanatics? Welcome to
I shot him 6 times.
YouTube Horror Movie Channel. As you know, I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. If you have not done so already, please shoot this video a like. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. As well as if you're a new viewer to this channel, please shoot that subscribe button as well as that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. Okay, everyone, a few days ago, I talked about how a piece of dialogue from Scream 6 from Detective Bailey implies that there could be a potential third killer in Scream 4 that has not been revealed. I'm going to leave that video at the end screen of this video, but I am going to touch on what Detective Bailey says, as it is still very important, especially as I found in Scream 4 even more evidence, in my opinion, that points to Kirby Reed possibly being that third unrevealed killer in Scream 4. You guys know that I have been on this theory for quite some time now, and after rewatching a certain scene in Scream 4 over again, I definitely think I have broke through and found the clue that all but proves Kirby Reed was involved with Charlie Walker and Jill Roberts. Now, I talked about how Detective Bailey said in Scream 6 that the mask that was found at the bodega scene, the DNA match was for both Charlie and Jill. That implies that not only did they share the same exact mask, they shared the same exact gown as well. Meaning, there wasn't a second robe that they were using. It would make no sense at all for their DNA to be matched in the same mask if there was another mask and robe that they could use. Now, why that is important, and I also talked about this in my last video, is that this scene at Jill Roberts' house, where it looks like there are 2 Ghostface killers there in that scene, one at the front door and one at the back in the chandeliers. Now, I know some of you guys have hit the comment section and have challenged that whole Ghostface in the chandeliers thought of mine, saying that apparently that was a prop dummy that was used to trick Sydney and Kate into going out the front door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay that clip so we can all take another look for ourselves. And then I'm going to chime back in and explain, in my opinion, why not only do I believe that is not a prop dummy in the chandeliers, that is an actual ghost face, but I'm also going to explain why it absolutely makes no sense for it to be a prop dummy in the chandeliers. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Okay, everyone, so real quickly, I will advise you to slow the video down just so you can have more of a concrete look on this scene for yourself as to whether you will believe this is a prop dummy or a real ghost face. And in my opinion, I think it's fairly evident that this is a real ghost face, and I'm going to explain why. When you do slow this video down, if you can, watch how this ghost face glides into the camera frame. If this was an object that was hanging from the ceiling, especially with it being windy outside, it would have been blowing side to side. It wouldn't have been just gliding into the camera frame like that. Another thing to take note of as well is where the arrow I have pointed at in that back wall. If that was an object that was hanging from the ceiling, in my opinion, that ghost face would be a lot higher. You would even be able to see the tassels, in my opinion. However, you do not see the tassels at all. It looks like this ghost face is running up to the back patio, which would imply this ghost face has feet, which would imply, in my opinion, that this is definitely not a prop dummy. Now, I'm also going to explain why it makes no sense for it to be a prop dummy. Number 1, Sydney Prescott is there at the house. I highly doubt she would be okay with her family having a prop dummy of Ghostface outside as a decoration. Now, I know some of you have said that apparently the prop dummy was set up, I would believe, in between the scenes of where Deputy Halston Perkins were killed and then when Kate Roberts arrives at the house with groceries. Well, why that does not work is because Sydney Prescott was right there in the kitchen. In my opinion, she would have heard or seen somebody as well as Kate herself. Kate was walking in with groceries. So they wouldn't have had enough time to set up that prop dummy in that scene. That prop dummy would have had already to be there if it was a prop dummy. And in my opinion, I think it makes absolutely no sense that that is a prop dummy. In my opinion, that is an actual ghost face that cuts into the camera frame in the chandeliers. Now, let's move on to the new damning evidence that I found of Kirby Reed possibly being that third unrevealed Ghostface killer in Scream 4. You guys know, if you are a viewer to this channel and a subscriber, you know I have been on this theory for months. And after rewatching a certain scene in Scream 4, I now believe I have the smoking gun into once and for all finally proving that Kirby Reed is an actual unrevealed third Ghostface killer in Scream 4. So I'm going to play these two clips for you guys, and then I'm going to chime back in with my thoughts.
Sorry, it's just me. Look, I tried to call 911, but the landline's dead and someone smashed the router. It's Charlie's phone.
Alright everyone, so I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, this clue definitely did fly over my head when I first started these theories talking about Kirby Reed possibly being an unrevealed Ghostface killer in Scream 4. I even went back in my previous videos to see if I did catch this clue, and I did not. As you can see in the first clip and here, you hear Kirby Reed say that she tried to get through to 911, that the landline was dead and the router was smashed. However, in the second clip, when she gets that call from Charlie's cell phone, you clearly see where I have the arrow pointed that the Wi-Fi bars on her phone is fully intact. What does that mean? Well, that means that not only did Kirby Reed lie, that means that her internet is still fully functioning. Because if her internet wasn't fully functioning, it would have had a big exclamation point next to it saying that she would have had to sign into her network. If you have internet service, then you know this to be true. But, in my opinion, the most damning piece of evidence is when Kirby tells Sydney she tried to call 911 but couldn't get through. Guys, we all know this for a fact. On our cell phones, the 911 feature comes automatically, whether you have data or not, whether you have a prepaid plan or whether you have a contracted plan. Doesn't matter. 911 calls, even in 2011, were on cell phones and did not require any minutes or anything in order to be authorized. If you needed to call 911 for something, you are able to do so from your cell phone at all times, especially if you are in range. She is in range. It's not like she's out in the middle of the woods or wilderness somewhere. She's within range to get in contact with 911. With that being said, this clearly tells me that not only did Kirby Reed lie, but this further proves that she was an unrevealed Ghostface killer in Scream 4. Because you have to ask yourself the question, why else would she lie to Sidney Prescott about these two things if she wasn't involved? We also got to keep in mind what Charlie said about the remake one-upping the original in Scream 4. If there are two killers in the original Scream, then the only thing that would make sense if the remake is supposed to one-up that is to have 3 killers instead of 2. Okay everyone, so let's take a trip back to the Ghostface shrine for a second. Remember earlier what I said about Detective Bailey saying that the DNA match from the bodega scene mask matched both Jill and Charlie, which would imply that not only did they wear the same mask, but they also wore the same robe. They shared the costume. What is interesting about the Ghostface shrine is that there are 9 total robes to signify all 9 killers up to that point. However, if we are now implied to believe that Charlie and Jill share the exact same mask and gown, then that second gown that is there that is supposed to either be one of the two does not belong to them. And it belongs to somebody else. Somebody who is a possible third killer in Scream 4. And in my opinion, I think it is none other than Kirby Reed, given all the evidence that I have went through in the last few months, as well as in this video. But okay everyone, that is it for this video. Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts on the new evidence that I found that, in my opinion, definitely does point to Kirby Reed possibly being revealed as a third Ghostface killer who was involved with Jill Roberts and Charlie Walker in Scream 4, as well as let me know what you guys think about my take on the whole prop dummy theory. Once again, this is
I shot him 6 times.
YouTube Horror Movie Channel. I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you all for watching.